Hi guys, Terry here. So I appreciate both articles by Thaddeus and Professor Levy, both touching on African ethics and journalism ethics. And in specific, Thaddeus Met's article touches on African ethics and journalism ethics in light of Ubuntu, while that of Professor Levy on African ethics in relation to the grandmother, the test of her to the African stories. So it is quite interesting that because most African ethics end up broadcasting news and writing ethics with their culture being reflected therein. African ethics provides an in-depth exploration of Ubuntu ethics, and this is defined as a set of values based on concepts such as reciprocity, mutual respect, and working towards the common good. Ubuntu ethics also strongly emphasizes the place of human dignity. Professor Levy's article majorly looks at the case of the grandmother test theory of ethics, and I think, according to me, this should be a very great eye-opener for an African journalist. How are we doing our stories? Would our grandmothers be enticed by them? Would they read these stories? Would they watch such stories? Are journalists giving the stories they publish in an ethical manner? Most of the time, an African grandmother tends to be against such acts as rape, killings, and exploitation, and they term them as rogue behaviors. But how do we let such stories out to the public as journalists, having in mind that this woman, the grandmother, there is a woman who does not know that people who experience such ill acts such as rape, killings, or exploitations, like the stories we've been seeing of late in the media, she does not know that these people who experience such acts should not have their faces covered, or rather should have their faces covered or voices disrupted so as not to come out as theirs, because we want to protect these persons who have experienced this. And this is all about ethics. Just as Metz and Professor Levy conclude their articles, their major challenge here remains that as African journalists, we should keep sharpening our skills, or we should rather sharpen our skills in media ethics and incorporate that which ought to be. We should do our stories in an ethical manner, and that way we will end up with the right pictures and videos to convey information to the masses. Once we write our stories, once we broadcast our stories with the videos out in the TV channels or in the social media platforms. Thank you for listening. Those are my thoughts about the two articles.